Good evening, everyone. I'm Kevin Hodge. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, following multiple snowmobile crashes in Marquette County, including one fatal, we're talking with Sheriff Zeiber to get some safety guidelines for when you hit the snow. Plus, Marquette County's Eagle Mine is now under new management. We'll hear what's planned for the future. And a government shutdown could be just weeks away as lawmakers battle over funding. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP. This is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Kelly, good evening. Are we getting close to summer or what? I'm getting sick of this.
We have to get to spring first, and I think that's 58 or 59 days away. So we are in the depths of winter right now. So yeah, I know that's not the answer you were looking for, but it's just overall very bitter, very cold. And we know that, but at least we're not dealing with some snow, some fresh snow at the moment. There's plenty of snow on the ground. Those wind chills have slightly improved from this morning, but still at -11 for us in Marquette, -3 down to Escanaba. And overnight, those temperatures will be into the single digits, and we will be talking about this extreme cold watch that will go into effect for Thursday and affect some of your weekends. So I'll break down all that in just a few.
Kelly, thank you very much. After multiple accidents throughout the UP this winter, law enforcement is reminding the snowmobiling community to ride safely on the trails. This includes operating sober and with proper equipment, remaining along the right side, and riding at an adequate speed, especially during the busy time of year. Marquette County Sheriff Gregory Zeibert says the best option is to slow down and keep other riders in mind.
With the snow comes the people and more accidents. Don't be under the influence of alcohol or drugs. That's so important because your reaction time is slower and it's just not worth it. This is a family sport, and people go out with their kids on snowmobiles. You have to be aware of your surroundings, and if you're not from the area, you have to slow down.
More safety guidelines can be found on WZMQ19.com. Marquette County's Eagle Mine and Humboldt Mill are under new ownership and management. After 11 years under the parent company Lundin Mining, Eagle Mine's operations now fall under the Talon Metal Corporation after completing a sale in early January. This will combine its existing nickel mining operations out of Tamarack, Minnesota, with plans to strengthen ore body explorations.
We always are looking for future growth opportunities and future ore bodies to extend our operations, and we found that opportunity in Talon Metals. That transition happened through a stock sale where Lundin Mining now owns 20% of Talon Metals Corporation.
Representatives from the corporation say both the Eagle Mine and Humboldt Mill will remain and grow as a stable job site for hundreds. We'll hear more from Talon Metals at 11:10 Central. The House Appropriations Committee unveiled the last 4 remaining government funding bills. If Congress can't reach an agreement by the end of January, we would be faced with another government shutdown. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp now joins us live. Rachel, good evening. Tell us what's in these bills.
Well, good evening, Kevin. So Congress has already worked on a couple of these funding bills, but these last 4 remaining bills would fund a couple of departments and some of their related agencies like transportation, defense, housing and urban development, as well as homeland security. But that DHS funding is going to be the biggest point of contention for some members in regards to some of ICE's operations out of Minnesota, which has just captured national attention. As the January 30th deadline approaches, House Appropriations lawmakers revealed their final funding bills.
If we don't get an agreement by January 30th, we're going to get another shutdown, and nobody wants this. The Republicans took much of the blame last time we had the shutdown, the longest one in history, but the Democrats were the ones who came to the table, at least some of them. Nobody wants to go back to their constituents who are kind of upset right now about affordability. They want to get this behind them so they can focus on making people's lives better.
The bills do not include an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies, something Democrats have advocated for. But one of the biggest hot-button issues are the funding for DHS and agencies like Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE. Following the fatal shooting of an unarmed woman in Minneapolis earlier this month by an ICE officer, Democrats have threatened to push back on DHS funding, including funding for ICE, unless the bill made cuts to the agency and more oversight. The ranking member on the House Appropriations Committee says the bill keeps the overall budget for the agency flat, adding, quote, "I understand that many of my Democratic colleagues may be dissatisfied with any bill that funds ICE. I shared their frustration with the out-of-control agency. I encourage my colleagues to review the bill and determine what is best for their constituents and communities.
Obviously, there's been a lot of pressure, especially on Democratic members of Congress, to either defund ICE or abolish ICE. But what we've got in this bill is a freeze of ICE, which is they'll keep it at the same, which is essentially a little bit of a cut if you consider inflation. But Democrats did get a few things that they wanted out of this. Mandated body cameras, as well as more training and independent oversight of detainee sites. So they got a few of the things that they want. They're not getting rid of ICE, but at least it's not expanding.
And Kevin, the House could potentially vote on these package bills within sometime this week, but there could be a separate vote on that DHS funding bill maybe at a later time. Back to you.
Rachel, thank you very much as always. Your first warning weather forecast is after the break, plus the battle over Greenland is escalating. We'll have the latest from Washington, D.C., and later in sports, wrestling action and big wins at the Upper Peninsula Finals. One athlete dominated with 3 straight pins, while another is up for a prestigious statewide award. We'll be right back.
Now, WZMQ TV 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
And welcome back. Hopefully everyone is staying warm. We're going to be getting to sort of that midweek slump, and with these types of cold temperatures, it's probably really hard to just even get out of bed and get your day going. I know some schools have some closures, 2-hour delays. This is some dangerous cold that we are dealing with. A high temperature of 4 when the average high this time of the year is 21. So if you've been thinking this is pretty cold, it's not just you being negative in the winter. It's well below average, and it's not something that humans should really experience for this long period of time, which is what we have setting up here. So it's not so much the snow that's going to be an issue. I think this is type of snow that we can handle, little bursts here and there, maybe a few inches of accumulation here and there, and especially when you space it out and you get breaks in between, there's time where you can manage that and clear some of that away. So we'll have some lake effect snow bands for Thursday morning that do hang around up to the northwestern portions of the UP, so that might have some light to moderate accumulation. But as for the overnight and then through Wednesday, really not much here. I would say this is a dusting, other than up to Eagle Harbor, where we could see some of those lake effect snow bands lingering for Wednesday night. And then we put on any potential snow overnight Wednesday into Thursday, and we maybe add another few tenths of an inch. So it's not so much the snow that we're having to deal with this week anymore, but now we're setting up for some even colder temperatures than we saw from that other cold surge that we had too. So this is another look at the jet stream that's showing you that very cold, when we say Arctic air, that's pulling from places like the North Pole, Greenland, and places well into the northern portions of Canada, when we typically see the cold air just right over the lake and the southern portions of Canada. It's pulling from very cold places, and that's more so going to be for Thursday into Friday and especially Saturday. So I'll show you the future wind chills as you head out the door tomorrow. It's definitely not fun. It's slightly an improvement from the last day or so, maybe at -10 when you head out the door. Through the day will linger into the single digits, but then that's when you really see that very cold air rushing in, about -23 for it feels like out to Ironwood for Thursday evening, and then even colder air rushes in for Thursday night and into Friday. That's when we have this extreme cold watch that will kick into effect for basically the western half of the UP for Thursday night all the way through Saturday afternoon. So Thursday night, all commutes for Friday, and then Saturday morning plans, you're going to have to dress in layers. If you wear 4 layers, wear 5, and dressing so much that you can't even put your arms down, because when we have these types of wind chills right now at about -11 to -19, but when we get to that extreme cold watch, it will get down to that -30 to -39 range, which means it would only take about 5 to 10 minutes for some frostbite concerns to start kicking in. So we'll hang around the teens for Wednesday and Thursday, but then our high temperature is likely going to be 0 or below, and then it's going to be a struggle to see some high temperatures in the teens and stuck in the freezer once we get through the week.
Kelly, thank you very much. The fight over Greenland is heating up on the ground, at the negotiating table, and in global markets after new troop movements and fresh tariff threats from the Trump administration. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Brendan Scanlon has more details tonight.
How far are you willing to go to acquire Greenland?
You'll find out.
Tuesday, President Donald Trump reiterating his view that Greenland is vital to U.S. national security, pointing to Russian and Chinese activity in Arctic waters.
But we need it for security purposes. We need it for national security and even world security. It's very important.
Those comments coming as Danish troops arrived in Greenland Monday, just days after several NATO allies sent small numbers of troops to participate in scheduled joint exercises with Denmark. All of this as tensions heat up over an acquisition of the autonomous territory of Denmark.
There's great assets in Greenland, and the question is, so why are Russia and China so concerned with those areas?
Congress is split on the idea of acquiring Greenland. There is, however, bipartisan pushback on any plans to do so forcefully. Still, leaders throughout Europe are wary and have expressed sharp criticism of the president's recent rhetoric, which includes new tariff threats against countries that oppose the U.S. pursuing Greenland.
Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland.
What doesn't make sense is to have tariffs between allies.
European leaders are reportedly weighing countermeasures that could include cutting off U.S. access to critical markets, or so-called trade bazooka. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer responding to the president's tariff threats, saying in part, quote, "It is incredible that he wants to double down on the stupidity by imposing tariffs on our closest allies for his quixotic quest to take over Greenland." The new tariff threats causing some concern on Wall Street, but not the panic seen during previous trade battles. Reporting in Washington, Brendan Scanlon, WZMQ 19 News.
Coming up next on Insights, a new nonprofit in Marquette County is set to hold its first fundraising event this weekend. We'll get the details in just a couple minutes.
One seems to want to.
Here's a mic check for you, Jason.
Yeah, try and get like my non-crappy hair. I've been sweating all day and in and out of the truck. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You're watching WZMQ 19 News, live and local, with Kevin Hodge.
Welcome back, everyone. A new nonprofit based in Ishpeming is gearing up for its first fundraising event this weekend. Joining us with the details is Jason Chapman. Jason, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Long time no see.
I know, it's been a while. I enjoy coming in, so thank you.
All right. Well, tell us give us the name of this new nonprofit first and tell us what it's all about.
Our name is Forging Futures. A group of us got together and saw that there was some need in the community for making the Ishpeming area better for families and kids especially. So we got together and started looking at some options as to what we could do. So we decided, well, let's get off our butts and form a nonprofit. So that's what we did. And our first project for the nonprofit is to replace a playground in Ishpeming. Okay. The Wabash Street Playground, it's a unique setting. It's surrounded by houses. So right in the middle of a circle, there's a playground. It's the perfect opportunity, the perfect spot to really renovate a playground. There's a lot of kids in the neighborhood, a lot of families, and the need is there. So we decided that we were going to stop talking and we were just going to get up and start doing something about it. So so that's what our first project is. That's not going to be our only project or our last project, but we've just noticed such a great uptick in young families in the Ishpeming area that we want to do something about it and make Ishpeming more friendly for the kids.
Definitely, and we have to raise the money for it. You have your first fundraising event coming up this Saturday. What's going on?
Yeah, so this Saturday at the Peterson Auditorium at Ishpeming High School, we are doing a showing of Anatomy 59, which is the documentary about the making of Anatomy of a Murder. It starts at 6:30 at the Peterson Auditorium. The filmmaker, John Pepin, who's a local guy, he worked for the Mining Journal for years and with the DNR now. Yep. He is going to be there to talk about the documentary itself. We also have Michigan Appellate Judge Michelle Rick, who is the immediate past president of the Women Judges Association of the United States. She's going to be on hand to talk about the significance of Anatomy of a Murder, the trial itself, and the court case. So there's going to be something kind of for everybody. It's a nice way for the community to come together on a cold, snowy winter and support your nonprofit, a nonprofit that's come around to kind of try and pick up the slack in some areas. And we're really looking forward to getting our name out there and welcoming some new faces to our organization as well. So. It's exciting. It is.
Yeah,
Long
absolutely.
time coming.
Absolutely. As far as anything anyone should know before they arrive, is there anything else?
Yeah, just a suggested donation of $10.
Okay.
We wanted to make this as affordable as possible. If you can't afford a donation, just come and find out how you can get involved and help us as we go forward. We have sponsorship opportunities available for the event or for other events too coming up, but it's nice to have the support of the neighborhood and the city council for what we're trying to do. We passed a resolution of support with the city council, so the council is behind us and what we're doing, and we're hoping to really make an impact and just try and, like I said, make the community a better place for the kids.
Excellent. All right, Jason. We are running short on time. Thank you so much. Anything else you wanted to add at all?
Yeah, no, just come as you are on Saturday night, 6:30 for the showing of Anatomy 59. There will be some snacks and a social hour afterwards.
All right, sounds good to me. Jason, good to see you, my friend.
Yes.
It's been quite a while. Hopefully we can get you back in here again soon.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And when we come back, Mike Ludlam has your look at sports. He'll bring us the highlights from last night's college football championship that saw Indiana take down Miami for the title. We'll be right back.
You too.
We'll try.
Why? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 19, 20, 21. Oh. Good evening, everyone. Not many changes in this week's Upper Peninsula High School basketball polls, but a brief explanation will help us get through the first one here. The poll is usually tabulated around 1 o'clock on Monday, so you would not have the Kingsford victory over Menominee 50-34 last night as a part of those rankings. So Westwood is still first with 4 first-place votes. Menominee second. Marquette is third, followed by Gladstone and Kingsford. Houghton also picked up a few votes. In Division 4 boys, Forest Park has taken over the number 1 spot by 1 point over Dollar Bay. Undefeated Pickford is third. Then it's North Dickinson, Bessemer, and Wakefield Marinisco are tied for fifth. And Lotz also picked up a vote. On the girls' side, Negaunee still undefeated and still number 1 with all 5 first-place votes. Then it's Gladstone, Sault Ste. Marie, Menominee, and Kingsford, with Houghton also getting a couple of votes from the panel. In Division 4, and Trout Creek, all 5 first-place votes. Then it's Ishpeming, Baraga, Norway, Munising, with Hancock and Wakefield Marinisco also getting votes. Upper Peninsula College athletes have been busy earning a number of weekly honors. In basketball, Michigan Tech's Marcus Tomashik was the GLIAC Men's Offensive Player of the Week. NMU's Dylan Keel took the Men's Defensive Player of the Week. The Wildcats' Jessica Schmidtdeal grabbed the Women's Defensive Player of the Week. And in the Michigan Community College Athletic Association, Bay's Mackenzie Hoffmeyer of Barker Harris was the Women's Player of the Week. In other sports, Michigan Tech's Owen Bartoskevich is the CCHA Goalie of the Week. His teammate Luca Fasciano is the Defenseman of the Week. NMU's Kalina Saglinski is the GLIAC Diver of the Week for the 5th time this season. Michigan Tech is ranked 19th in this week's hockey poll. NMU women's basketball is ranked 16th. The Upper Peninsula Wrestling Finals were held Saturday at Marquette Senior High School. This is the 126-pound final between Caleb Christensen of Westwood in red against Manastique's Landon Weber. Weber recorded a takedown in the first round that held up for a 3-0 victory. Let's go to 132 pounds. Gwynn's Evan Stakowicz will be in the black and gold. He took on Manastique's Graydon Holt in the championship match. Stakowicz had a 7-4 lead starting the second round, and he gets credit for a 4-point near fall in this sequence. And Stakowicz won the match with a majority decision of 14-5. 138 pounds, Menominee's Caleb Barstow in white took on North Central's Cooper Rabb. Barstow grabbed the early lead, getting credit for a 3-point takedown in this sequence. Barstow earned a majority decision for the title, taking it 19-9. At 150 pounds, that's what you're looking at now. That's Gladstone's Nathan Beauchamp getting the pin on Negaunee's Devin Jermu at 49 seconds of the first round. 157, Westwood's Gavin Camero was the winner, or Comero was the winner, pitting Marquette's Harlan Dombrowski at 317. Comero is one of 10 Upper Peninsula student athletes who has been named a finalist for the Michigan High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete Award, sponsored by Farm Bureau Insurance. And in the final match, Gladstone's Trevor Thorbon pinned Kingsford's Connor White at 55 seconds of the first round. And that was 4 titleists for your winner, Gladstone. They won the Terry Duval Trophy as team champion. On the results, Gladstone easily with the title. Escanaba didn't have any champions but finished second. Then it was Sault Ste. Marie, Marquette, and Kingsford. National championship football game last night, Miami and Indiana, and doink. Indiana, probably the biggest play of the game up to that point, blocking the punt for a touchdown, Isaiah Jones. That made it 17-7 Hoosiers. Fourth quarter, And the quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, goes on 4th and 4, bounces it into the end zone. Indiana up by 10, and they would be able to hang on to win the national title by the score of 27-21. That is 3 straight for the Big Ten, and we will be right back.
And a final check of your forecast. We get a brief relief on those very bitter cold wind chills. We don't see any fresh snow this evening, so that's always good news. And as you head out the door tomorrow morning, those feels like temperatures will be about -10. So still make sure to keep that mindset of dressing in layers, covering exposed skin. And it's going to get even colder once we get to Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. We'll talk more about that later tonight. Wind chill values could get as low as
Kelly, thank you again. And finally tonight, a new multi-use trail is coming to Gladstone. The nonprofit Delta County Non-Motorized Trails is developing a mountain bike and walking trail at the Bessie Sports Park. It will be a 3-mile loop along the park's perimeter, complete with a pump track and a beginner skills turnout. The roughly $300,000 project is designed to expand recreation opportunities for Delta County residents.
This area attracts a number of children, kids, families. It's centrally located, it's close to the schools. There's quite a few residential areas. We are providing more outdoor activities where families can do them together and just enjoy this great outdoors. That's why we live up here.
The nonprofit is seeking volunteers and grant funding to help create the trail and aims to clear a path for it this spring. That's all we have for right now, everyone. We'll catch you back here later tonight.